Update. I, 23 male, hit my wife and will be going to jail tonight. Original post. My wife, 31 female, is mentally stable. Her personality flipped when we got married. She can be very violent. Tonight we got in an argument and she started throwing things at me. Then she started hitting me, so I hit her in the face. She told me she's going to call the police and locked herself in our guest room. I don't know if she actually called the police, but I'm sitting here waiting. I'm definitely going to be the one that goes to jail. I've never hit a woman before and I've never felt so low. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. You're in a bad place. If cops come, request a lawyer immediately and keep your mouth shut. If cops don't come in 4 hours or so, then leave the premises and don't return without witnesses or a constable. And divorce papers. She's 31 and you're 23? Wow, I'm curious how long y'all have been married and even together before that. Sounds suspect. She was a walking red flag with an air horn the moment she started hitting on someone who was probably barely out of high school at the time. How did OP not see anything wrong with the creepy age gap and think this woman was mentally sound? But we might be dealing with a grooming case here. How did OP not see anything wrong with a creepy age gap and think this woman was mentally sound? The same way barely legal teen women think some old dude is into them because they're so smart and mature for their age. You have the groomer telling them what they want to hear, and everyone else is just jealous and doesn't understand their relationship. Call the police and report her attacking you. That's not going to work. He hit back and it will probably show. Even if she did those things, it will be in favor of her. My ex-wife slapped me for no reason. I called the cops and they did nothing. When she was asked, she even admitted it. They even laughed at me. F me for calling them instead of violence. Edit? Wow, I wasn't expecting a lot of responses on this. Just got out of jail and will update later. Now for the first update. I know a lot of people commented wanting to know what I ended up doing after hitting my wife. I wish I could have responded, but I didn't have my phone. Honestly, I'm surprised at how many people saw my post and commented. To answer some questions, because people believe I was groomed as my wife is older. We met when I was 19 and she was 27. She was the nicest and most amazing woman I had ever met. I fell for her immediately. She really had her stuff together. She had a master's degree and was very successful in her field of work as an independent small business owner. She was married and divorced once before meeting me. Red flag in hindsight. We eloped 4 months ago. The house is leased. Only my name is on the lease as my wife moved out of her apartment when we got married. After we got married is when she started lashing out and hitting me occasionally. And no, I didn't just hit her in the face because I was mad. She threw a glass at me. It hit me in the head. It didn't shatter on my head. I fell to the ground and she got on top of me. I was trying to block her hits and reacted by hitting her. Then she acted like the victim by crying and saying she was calling the police and she wasn't safe around me. Then locked herself in the guest room. However, now I tell you what happened after the post. Yes, I ended up going to jail Saturday night. And fortunate that I got arrested the night before Easter Sunday because I couldn't see a judge until Monday. I was charged with domestic assault and battery. It is a misdemeanor because it's my first offense, but I could still face a year in jail. My wife didn't call the police immediately. She locked herself in the guest room after it happened. About 20 minutes after the incident is when I posted on Reddit. I honestly thought she was bluffing about calling the police, but about 10 minutes after that, there were 2 cops knocking and yelling at my front door. My wife came out of the guest room with a black eye. I immediately knew I was screwed. I was wearing a white t-shirt that had some blood stains on it because my wife had busted my lip. And fortunately, regardless of me saying I was defending myself against my violent wife, they saw her black eye and the blood in my shirt, and I was arrested. As of right now, I'm not allowed to be around my wife. I have a public defender as I can't afford my own lawyer. She has left our house, so luckily I can stay there. I have no idea where she went. She took my dog though. She didn't even want the freaking thing. I'm calling a divorce lawyer and will be filing as soon as possible. I'm going to try and get the charge dropped as well. My attorney is pretty confident that it will go nowhere, as I have a clean record and my wife has domestic charges on her record. I knew about this, but I was stupid and believed her when she said her husband hit her all the time. Now look at me, and I'm claiming self-defense. I was also fired from my job too because I was in jail on Monday. And as of right now, I probably won't be getting another because there's no way I can pass a background check with an ongoing legal problem. I am going to be setting cameras up all around my house in case my wife decides to show up. I still have her number in my phone, unblocked, but will not be reaching out or responding if she reaches out to me. Essentially, my life is ruined. My wife is a horrible human being, and I could face jail time or homelessness. I don't speak to my family as they don't like my wife, and this is something that I don't think I can tell them about because they warned me that she was trouble. Go talk to your family. Take the I told you so's. Man up. Deal with it. They love you. I will tell my family. I'm just worried because my mom is a police officer, so I feel like this could also turn them further against me. You really think your mom will side with a woman she hated and warned you about, and think that her little boy who has only been gone for a few years is now a woman beater? It's not just that I'm worried about her opinion on that, but she always told me and my siblings if we go to jail that we can't forget about being part of the family. I'm sure she was talking about going to jail as doing crimes, not as fighting back in self-defense. Big sister to a younger brother here. My brother's ex-fiancé completely isolated him from our family and tried to control every bit of his life. We absolutely hated this chick, but we knew he was an adult who made his own choices. Eventually, he wised up and left her before they got married. Trust and believe me when I say we welcomed him back into our fold, no questions or hesitation. We were just happy he got out. Even if your mom doesn't help you, and if she doesn't, she's probably not a great mom, other people in your family will be happy to hear from you. As someone else said, they love you, and they want the best for you. My ex-wife tried to get me for false imprisonment and battery. The cops always believed a woman, but the court isn't so thoughtless. Maintain your side of the story and you should see all of this dismissed. Thank you for this comment. As much as I'm confident I can get it dismissed, there's still that anxiety in the back of my mind. Get your dog back. There's no saying what you'll do to it. Luckily, my name is on the papers for the dog. I've told the police and told them my soon-to-be ex-wife stole my dog. As of now, it's not being treated as urgent, as well as the fact no one knows where they are. Yeah, I'm really worried about my dog. I've had him since I was 16. She tried to get rid of him many times, so I'm worried that's exactly what she's done. Edit with multiple mini updates. Thank you for the advice, guys. I called my parents and told them I'm coming over tonight. They don't know what happened yet, but I'm gonna talk to them. Edit 2. I spoke to my parents tonight. I hadn't spoken to them since I got married to my wife, which was 4 months ago. They were not at all supportive of the decision, as well as me dating her. At the time, I didn't know why. Obviously, I know now they were right. They honestly were happy to see me when I showed up. They thought I was bringing my wife over, so I'm sure they were even happier to see that I came alone. I told them everything, and I'm not gonna lie, it was really emotional. My parents were more than understanding. They're paying for a lawyer, not only to fight my charges but for the divorce as well. My mom is walking me through how to press charges against her for the abuse, as well as for stealing my dog. They said I could stay at the house with them if I felt safer there, but I declined. I thought they'd be all I told you so, but it wasn't like that at all. I also filed for divorce. She should be served at her office sometime soon. Second full update. Hey everyone. I wasn't going to update because for me this issue is over. But I have a lot of messages and understand that many people are curious as to how things are going after that initial night with me getting arrested. The charges were tossed. My wife admitted that she exaggerated everything and told police and my attorney that I was not abusive and said she would appreciate if the charges weren't pursued any further. That was good enough because I'm no longer facing a misdemeanor. Shortly after that, she came to the house, which now has cameras, with a bunch of my favorite snacks and drinks, as well as a long apology note. She was in tears, saying she didn't mean to ruin my life, and she was so sorry. And that night she was seeing red and barely remembers anything. When she showed up, I didn't say anything. I also didn't accept her apology gift or letter. All I asked was where my dog was. She tried to act confused and said she didn't have him. I know my wife. Her face gets red when she lies. I told her if she doesn't return my dog, I'm pressing charges, as well as getting a restraining order and filing for divorce. She broke down and told me that she did take him and had no intention to harm him, but he did run away when she left a door open. She said she looked for him and couldn't find him. He isn't chipped. He's gone. We aren't going to find him. I'm torn up over it. I told her to leave my property. A few days later, she was served divorce papers. Again, shows up at my house crying, saying she's sorry for everything. She loves me. She wants to save our marriage. She said I can't throw away what we have over an animal. While my dog is a huge reason why I'm going through this, I got angry and said she's abusive, she's manipulative, and she needs therapy and medical help for her problems. It's way more than my dog. I told her she's lucky I haven't pressed charges and have only filed for divorce. Well, she hit me again, this time on camera. I called the police. When the police showed up, she was in hysterics and tried to turn it on me, saying that she hit me in self-defense and that we're going through a divorce and I wouldn't let her leave. She didn't know I had cameras. She was arrested. I was granted a restraining order. We are getting divorced. I've gone to every animal shelter close by. My dog is nowhere to be found. It's been a few weeks. I'm assuming the worst. My wife's ex-husband reached out to me. He's still friends with a few of my wife's friends and they filled him in on the situation. He told me that she did something similar to him, but he let it continue for longer than he should have because she is really manipulative and would cry and apologize and seem genuinely remorseful and willing to take the steps necessary to change. He told me not to look back or fall for any of it. But yeah, as happy as I am that my legal issues are over and I'm getting out of an abusive marriage, to me it's not a happy ending because I lost my best friend since I was 16. I let him down. I put my dog in a situation where he is unsafe. I miss him so much. Thank you everyone for the kind messages and comments. You really helped me through this. Man, the fact that she hit you again and then tried to get you in trouble with the law again immediately after her big apology attempt is just extra proof that she won't change. She's putting herself first and doesn't care about how it hurts you. Add on that she lied to your face about taking your dog? Jesus. She sounds so awful, and I'm so sorry. I dig around some more regarding your dog. I don't believe that he ran off. I think she either hurt the dog or gave it to someone else. I'd be contacting every friend and family member she has to ask about the dog. Someone probably knows something. I'm so sorry you're dealing with all this, Opie. But know that even though right now and the divorce process sucks, it will get better when you're finished with all this. I agree. I don't know why, but I don't believe your dog is gone for good. Talk to people. Use social media. Anything you can think of. Good luck. I've only just discovered this story and read up on Opie's previous posts. When he says in the first post about his wife instantly flipping over to being a victim once the opportunity comes around, like flipping a switch, reminds me a lot of an abusive ex I had. She never hit me, but whenever she realized she messed up, she'd push my buttons as much as she could, just so I would mess up too. Or not even mess up, but do or say anything that would allow her to switch roles. And she was masterful in that. How often I went from asking her how the heck she could treat her own boyfriend like that, only to go after her apologizing just minutes later. Still to this day, I'm not completely free from this. I still feel the devastation that comes automatically when you hurt someone you love. It's been 15 years, and her conditioning still makes me feel like I was in the wrong for saying things back to her after being pelted with abuse. Last story. My husband is acting strange ever since he found out his ex-wife is engaged. My female 25, husband male 49, and I have been married for 3 years and we have an 18-month-old. We met 4 years ago when we both moved here to be near our families. Me after I finished uni and my husband after his divorce was made final. We have a good life and don't have any problems. We both have good jobs in human resources. Our child is the center of both our world. A couple of weeks ago, my husband found out that his ex-wife is getting married. He hasn't talked to her since he moved to Alberta after the divorce. But someone he used to know when he lived in St. John's was visiting here and my husband and him went out to catch up. He told my husband that his ex-wife is engaged. Ever since then, my husband has been acting strange and he seems upset. He got divorced because he wanted a child. He said he always thought he didn't want children, and when he met his ex-wife, he was relieved he met a woman who also didn't want children. But he said about 5 years ago he changed his mind. His ex-wife still didn't want kids, so my husband filed for divorce because he did. His family tells me they were shocked when he changed his mind about wanting to be a father. I understand that his ex-wife is a big part of his past. They were married for 20 years and together for 22, and she was part of his life for almost half his life. But I don't understand why he is upset. He was the one who divorced her. Our relationship is happy and he loves our baby. He is a good father and husband. He tried to look on social media for stuff about his wife, even though she isn't on any of it. I understand that he is curious, but he admitted he looked up other doctors at a hospital she works at to try and figure out which one she's engaged to. He says he loves me and he loves our child, but I don't know why he's acting so strange and upset. I feel like he should not care about anything his ex-wife does. We have never had any problems in our marriage before, but he is acting strange ever since he found out about his ex-wife, and now it feels like it's not the same. Now for the top advice. He didn't divorce her because he lost feelings. He divorced her because he wanted kids and she didn't. Which is fine, that's just life. Aspirations change, and they were right to separate and pursue their own happiness. But it probably hurts him to know she's moved on almost as quickly as he did. And whereas his goal was to have children with someone, she's most likely just marrying for love. I think this is the answer. He still loves his first wife, he just wanted children. Now that he sees his wife is in love with someone else, it hurts. But he chose this, so he has to live with it. It's time for him to refocus on his current circumstances and be content. This is what he wanted. And then if his ex-wife changes her mind about kids, OMG, he will implode. I thought the same thing. He had to marry someone younger. No one his age was going to have a baby or babies, so a 21-year-old was the perfect victim. If his ex-wife ends up pregnant, that will really mess him up. But like I said before, this is all his own doing. He's acting like that because he no longer is winning in the little mental battle he has with his ex. Let's recap here. Gets with a way younger woman after his divorce was final. I bet you $50 he did it to rub it in his ex's face. Knows he's upsetting you but doesn't care. Why would he? He already has you where he wants, tied to him. Thought he was going to be the one that got away, but now that someone else shows interest in the toy he discarded, he just really wants it back. He's not over his ex. Her moving on with her life, however, means she's way over him, and he's now in the back burner for her. And he can't stand it. You got with an almost 50-year-old that acts like a 21-year-old on his first heartbreak. What a prize.